Welcome to the channel. So the topic for the day is going to be LG. That's right, LG TV. So you notice I probably put a lot more emphasis on the L because in my opinion, LG is taking a tremendous L with their latest move for what they're doing with their 2023 TV lineup. So let's just dive right in. What you're looking at on the screen, if this is your first time stopping by this channel, is a 77 LG C2. And if you're somebody who is going to be looking for a 2023 model TV and you're currently shopping and you're just kind of looking around on YouTube for, reviews about the LG C3 or the G3 and you're just trying to make a decision, I'm going to talk a little bit about something, maybe even rant a little bit about something that I would say the news broke, maybe late last week or so, that LG has made a major change to something that for me personally absolutely 100% alters my purchasing decisions for LG TVs moving forward. So you're wondering, what could that possibly be? Take a look at this. So let's do a little magic trick you can do on the LG C2, shall we? So let's do this and do that. And oh, that looks cool. Let's go on down here. Let's see. Number 12 looks okay. Okay, there's some cool stuff over there on the right. Well, let's highlight two specific things. The first is up there at the top, TPC enable. And the next one is down there second from the bottom, GSR enable. And if you're somebody who doesn't follow TV technology closely, and have no idea what that means, you're not alone, okay? Those two things are kind of complicated, but let me break it down for you this way. TPC enable and GSR enable have tremendous impacts on something that you might notice when you're watching your LG OLED, which is when you're watching a movie and you have a specific lighting in a scene for an extended period of time, you might notice that your TV all of a sudden looks a hell of a lot darker than it did when the scene started, okay? The other thing you might notice is if you bought your LG C2 or even C1, whatever, and you game on it, you play PS5, you play Xbox Series X, you play PC, and you're playing Call of Duty, okay, that has plenty of static logos on the screen, your heads up display, your ammo count, whatever. And at the start of the match, the TV looked beautiful and bright. And if you play a long match with those logos on there and the screen is not changing very often, you might notice that in the middle of the match, it's a lot darker than it was at the start. And that's annoying, right? TPC enable and GSR enable are two contributing factors and settings that make your TV dim as you're trying to enjoy your content, whether it's movies, sports, whatever. Those two settings, let's go back in real quick. Those two settings are what contribute and why the TV dims when you're watching movies, sports, whatever, or if you're playing video games that have static logos on the screen, your TV dims down. And it's a protection measure, okay? I'm not saying it's a bad thing that it's there. It's a way to protect the OLED panel for long-term use. But if you're somebody like me who buys the display to enjoy at its peak performance, at its brightest capabilities and beautiful colors and all that stuff, and I'm not worried about the TV's longevity 5, 8, 9, 10 years from now. I'm not worried about that. I'm enjoying it right now. And I'm okay with taking a little risk. I guess in some instances, maybe I worded that incorrectly. I'm willing to take a tremendous risk, okay? TPC enable and GSR enable allow you to enjoy your panel without worrying about the dimming. Okay? Simply put, by turning off TPC enable and turning off GSR enable, you can now enjoy your LG C2 without concern of the panel dimming. As you're playing a game or you're watching a movie, that's awesome. Well, guess what? I got a fever. No, I'm not going there. Guess what? LG has changed what their service menu looks like. So, I obviously don't have a way to put it on screen because this is a C2, but you can no longer, as it stands right now, there's plenty of smart people out there. Somebody is bound to probably figure out a way around this, but as far as I know, there's not going to be a way for you to access the LG service menu and disable TPC and GSR, which means you are at the mercy of LG's processing on when the TV dims and, how bright scenes can be versus, if there's a static logo and the TV is going to dim down to protect. So you no longer have full control over that. And that bothers the hell out of me. And again, I understand the reasoning for putting it in there. It's to protect the panel so that you try to mitigate, things like burn-in, permanent burn-in. I get it. But what about the consumer who is willing to take the risk and would like to have the ability to fully turn off those things, understanding you're increasing your risk for burn-in or, image retention, all that stuff, maybe even warranty claims, you're putting yourself at risk. For the consumer who just wants to enjoy the LG display at its max potential without worrying about dimming in the middle, impacting your enjoyment, it appears as of right now, we're like what? End of March, late March 2023, as of this moment, it appears there's not going to be a way for you to, make the change on your own. In other words, they've taken the decision completely out of your hands. No longer can you go out, and get something like this off of Amazon or eBay or whatever, and be able to enjoy your display the way you want to. Okay? That is really disheartening for me because for those of you that have been following the channel here in the past, few months, you know that I've been a Sony person. I've had Sony panels for the last 10 to 15 years. And this past year, I finally decided to give another manufacturer a chance. And I picked up this LG C2 as my primary gaming display. But I also have an Apple TV 4K hooked up to it. And I watch YouTube, every now and then when I'm, back here. I, watch Netflix. I do content consumption as well. And one of the biggest selling features from LG, now I guess let me backtrack a little bit. One of the biggest reasons why I took the plunge and I decided to give LG a chance and buy their panel is because I knew that there was a way, not on the surface, to completely disable the dimming things on the OLED. In other words, I could turn them completely off, take 100% risk that it's going to damage the panel, but I can enjoy it without the worry or without the annoyance of the panel dimming. And again, I'm okay with that. Maybe you're watching this video going, wow, this person's a fool. I'm buying this panel and I want it to be perfect. I want it to be great on day one and I want it to be great 10 years from now. I get that. That's fine. You can leave those things on and enjoy your panel, and if the dimming doesn't bother you, that's awesome. But for me, I didn't want to be gaming and have the TV dim down, because if that was the case, I just hook up my PS5 to the Sony A80J that is our primary movie watching TV. The A80J looks fantastic for gaming. My biggest gripe there, I have no way to disable that damn dimming, and I primarily play games with static logos. I play, Madden that has scoreboard all the time on there. I play Call of Duty. I play these games that have these static logos, and the dimming, I can't tell you how many times I've been playing a match of Call of Duty on the A80J, and let's say I'm playing a zombies game, right? A match that's going to be long, a lot of rounds. So the TV is not going to have changing screens very often, because if you make it to round 10, 15, 20 in zombies, guess what that means? You're not dying, right? And when you die in Call of Duty, the screen changes for a moment. So it gives the panel a chance to refresh. Those logos go away for a moment and then they come back. In a zombies match, they're there the whole time, consistently. So the panel is absolutely going to dim down to the max. The panel is going to be at its most aggressive in dimming, because it sees that HUD elements and the ammo and all that for a long period of time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever. If you're good at zombies, you can be playing literally for hours without dying. And those static images are going to be on the panel, which means the Sony is going to dim the hell out of it. And I get it. My problem with that is I don't have a way to turn it off if I want to take the risk. Okay? The LG, the CX, the C1, the C2 I have here, you have the ability to disable it and take the risk. And I love it. And I would be first to tell you that, if I'm talking to family or friends or whatever, and they're looking for a gaming panel, 2022 and going backwards, I'd absolutely recommend the LG. I'd have no problem making them my first choice on, hey, you're going to be gaming, and you want a great gaming panel, but you have the flexibility to turn off the dimming. That way you can enjoy the panel as if, the dimming is not going to be a concern. I'd absolutely recommend LG right away. But for 2023 moving forward, unless A, somebody finds a workaround, within the service menu to do it, or B, in future TVs, there's an update that comes that all of a sudden the service menu gives, full access again. In other words, you can do about anything. I cannot in good conscience recommend the LG #1 as a gaming TV.